Continuing the events of the previous part, after seeing Mariabell, Rimuru understood that a battle inside this ruin was inevitable. Mariabell, the woman who sought to control the world through economic manipulation, believed in an unbreakable hierarchy, where the rich would only grow richer and the weak would remain powerless. She saw the world as a battlefield of survival, where only the strongest had the right to rule. In contrast, Rimuru aimed to expand Tempest's influence across the Western nations, striving to build a society where anyone, regardless of status, had the opportunity to change their fate, where the poor could become wealthy and the rich could fall in an instant. These two opposing philosophies collided, and the outcome of their battle would determine everything. With a final offer, Rimuru extended an olive branch. "Become my ally, and all conflict will end here." But Mariabell scoffed at his proposition, deeming him naive and weak. To her, equality was a meaningless concept. The weak existed only to be exploited. At her command, Kai charged forward, his mind clouded with rage. Shion attempted to intercept him, but Yuuki swiftly intervened, blocking her path. Her bloodlust ignited, and she raised her massive udachi, ready to fight in earnest. Meanwhile, Gobta prepared for battle against an unknown knight, Lama, a warrior who was defeated by Glenda and became her subordinate. Lama came here with the purpose of avenging Glenda's death. Having trained extensively, Gobta had mastered his transformation and entered the fight with newfound confidence. Rimuru assessed the situation and predicted Gobta's victory, though Lama's strength could not be underestimated. As for Kai, the young man still enthusiastically approached Rimuru. He lunged at Rimuru. The demon lord effortlessly countered. Channeling a surge of energy into his left hand, Rimuru struck directly at Kai's head, ending his life in an instant, and just like that, his painful side character's life ended. "This is me when I'm serious," Rimuru declared, his voice cold and unwavering. His menacing aura sent a shiver down Mariabell's spine. Gobta felt that his master was really too scary. And Shion was amazed at the majesty and felt lucky to have witnessed Rimuru's true self. Mariabell also finally realized that the man standing before her was far stronger than the version she had encountered in Ingracia. He was not just a demon lord, he was one of the most powerful beings in the world. By burning Kai's life and soul, Mariabell had increased his power to the maximum. With it, Kai was now strong enough to confront Carrion or Frey. However, after just one swing of Demon King Rimuru's hand, Kai was destroyed. Refusing to concede, Mariabell resorted to her trump card, the Holy Barrier, a powerful technique designed to suppress and weaken all demonic entities within its range. It was a barrier capable of nullifying even a demon lord's strength, ensuring Rimuru's defeat. As soon as the barrier was activated, Shion and Gobta felt their bodies grow heavier. However, Shion did not show any signs of worry because she was used to this kind of thing. Mariabell, now filled with confidence, smirked in triumph. However, the moment the barrier was activated, it was destroyed. This was exactly what Rimuru had been waiting for. This ruin was not simply a place to explore, but a trap to lure the enemy. It was perfect that Mariabell took the bait. Raphael had predicted that since Grambel was the head of the Holy Church, Mariabell would most likely cast a holy barrier, and indeed, the Lord of Wisdom was always right. For the first time, Mariabell faltered. She realized that Glenda, whom she had presumed dead, was alive and had betrayed her. In the end, it was not Rimuru who had been overconfident, it was her. With Kai dead, and Yuuki and Lama unable to overpower their opponents, the battle was slipping from Mariabell's control. Desperate, she made a reckless decision. She burned her own soul to push her power beyond its limits and engage in close combat with Rimuru. Fueled by sheer will, she closed the distance and launched a devastating kick at Rimuru. The sheer force of the attack was enough to shatter steel, but Rimuru blocked it effortlessly, sending Mariabell flying backward. She recovered quickly and dodged his counterattack, retaliating with her ultimate ability, Die! Death Wish! A surge of dark energy engulfed Rimuru. This was greed, the power to dominate and consume the wills of others, enhanced to its absolute limits by Mariabell's unwavering determination. For a brief moment, time seemed to stand still. Mariabell was confident. Greed was one of the 7 deadly sin abilities, a power rooted in humanity's fundamental desires. She believed that no one could resist its influence, not even Rimuru. To her, victory was already decided, but then, apologies for disappointing you, Rimuru's voice rang out. The analysis is complete. Your power is useless against me. Mariabell's confidence shattered. Unbeknownst to her, Rimuru had already activated his ultimate skill long before their battle even began. No matter how powerful greed was, in the end, it was only a unique skill, and against an ultimate skill, it was completely worthless. At that moment, Mariabell realized the truth. No matter how hard she fought, no matter how much power she sacrificed, she could never defeat Rimuru. Rimuru was deeply impressed by Mariabell's power. The Holy Barrier had been a dangerous trump card, but thanks to the preparations of Hakuro, Gabiru, and Soka, they had managed to counter it. However, the dark wave of energy emitted by Mariabell was a different matter. Even Rimuru, with all his power, felt not good when engulfed by it. While Diablo and Shion could likely resist its influence, someone like Benimaru would definitely fail. This realization prompted Rimuru to make a mental note. Once this battle was over, he would ensure his subordinates underwent rigorous mental fortitude training. Even though she was a cruel and dangerous person, Rimuru still hesitated to kill her. She was, after all, a mere child, just 10 years old. The idea of taking her life left a bitter taste in his mouth. However, Mariabell had no intention of surrendering. Driven by madness, she continued her reckless assault, but her attacks had become meaningless against Rimuru. "I'll let you go peacefully," Rimuru declared coldly. "Enter my stomach and reflect on your sins." Activating Lord of Gluttony Beelzebub, he prepared to devour her soul. But before he could finish, a deafening crash shook the battlefield. Shion had been struck by Yuuki, sent flying across the ruins. Though her ultra-speed regeneration worked tirelessly, this time her wounds refused to heal properly. She lay on the ground, unable to rise. Mariabell smirked, seeing an opportunity. Mariabell still hadn't given up. She wanted to use Yuuki to confront Rimuru. With a sudden surge of power, Yuuki Kagurazaka's aura spiked dramatically. Analysis: Yuuki Kagurazaka's strength has increased significantly. It is highly likely that Mariabell Russo has transferred a portion of her power using unique skill, Greed. Raphael's report confirmed Rimuru's suspicions. Mariabell had sacrificed her remaining strength to empower Yuuki. Rimuru understood that he had to fight Yuuki, and in the worst case, he might have to kill him. Rimuru had clashed with Yuuki before, but only in brief encounters. Now, they were facing each other in an all-out battle for the first time. Rimuru quickly realized that Yuuki might be even stronger than Mariabell. After all, he had defeated Shion before she could even unleash her full power. This was going to be a brutal fight. As Rimuru and Yuuki charged at each other, Mariabell seized the chance to escape, racing deeper into the tomb. She still hadn't given up on her schemes. Though Rimuru was concerned, he couldn't afford to let his guard down. This battle against Yuuki demanded his full attention. Glancing at Shion, he saw that Kigali and the other explorers had gathered around her, tending to her wounds. Though conscious, Shion couldn't stand, a rare sight that left her visibly frustrated. Meanwhile, Yuuki delivered a powerful right kick aimed at Rimuru. Calmly, Rimuru raised his left arm to block, and in the next instant, his arm was blown to pieces. Emergency report. Absolute defense, Uriel, has been destroyed. Hypothesis: Yuuki possesses an ability similar to attribute anti-skill. Raphael's warning stunned Rimuru. Anti-skill. A terrifying ability capable of disabling all magic and skills except for holy sword techniques. That meant Rimuru's magical attacks and ultimate skills were completely useless against Yuuki. For the first time in a long while, Rimuru felt his confidence waver. His entire combat style relied on his powerful skills. He had believed that unique skills were ineffective against ultimate skills, but Yuuki had completely bypassed that rule. Even with 4 ultimate skills at his disposal, Rimuru now realized that he could lose this fight. Rimuru knew that even if Raphael explained the reason in detail, he definitely wouldn't understand. So what he needed to do was focus on the battle at hand. With the current situation, he might have to kill Yuuki. Drawing his demonic blade, Rimuru infused it with his aura. Yuuki responded by dual-wielding, a dagger in his right hand and a short sword in his left. He lowered his body as if to be more vigilant. Observing Yuuki's movements, Rimuru made an important realization. Rimuru gradually understood that Yuuki could nullify magic and skills, but could not interfere with physical attacks. Basically, all of Rimuru's attacks came from skills, but swordsmanship was completely different. Testing this theory, Rimuru lunged forward. Yuuki might be able to nullify it too, but Rimuru wanted to test all solutions. Glancing at his opponent's equipment, he realized that the dagger and short sword had both undergone evolution. They were most likely to have reached legendary grade. Their weapons clashed in a relentless duel, neither side giving an inch. As their battle raged, Raphael provided a crucial revelation. Report: anti-skill does not apply to weapons. A very important piece of information came from Google Raphael's position. It meant that if both of them used weapons, Yuuki's anti-skill would not affect Rimuru. He immediately activated Uriel's absolute defense and pretended to lose his momentum to lure Yuuki into attacking. Seeing an opening, Yuuki lunged forward, dagger aimed at Rimuru's heart. Heh, you got sloppy, Rimuru-san. The dagger was laced with deadly poison, capable of extending and retracting unpredictably. Had it landed, even Rimuru would have suffered a grave wound. But that would never happen. The moment the dagger struck, it was stopped mid-air by Absolute Defense Uriel. Rimuru retaliated instantly. Stormbreaker! A devastating fusion of magic and swordsmanship, Stormbreaker unleashed a violent burst of corrosive energy capable of disintegrating the enemy's body. Yuuki was slashed, leaving a large wound on his chest, but for some reason his body was not corroded. Staring at Rimuru with fury and disbelief, Yuuki finally realized he had lost. With Yuuki restrained, Rimuru contemplated his next move. He wanted to purge Mariabell's control over him, but anti-skill prevented Raphael from intervening. I won! I really wanted to help you escape from Mariabell's control, but it seems I can't do it. Don't blame me, Yuuki. After saying that, Rimuru decided to use the hilt of his sword to knock Yuuki unconscious and go restrain Mariabell. That way, her victims would also be freed. Just as he was about to strike, "Please wait," Kigali rushed forward, shielding Yuuki. "Don't kill him. Yuki-sama has an extremely firm will. His mental strength wouldn't be so easily defeated by that little girl." The people in the expedition also agreed with that. They all went to talk to Yuuki as if to awaken him. Rimuru felt like a villain. It was completely pointless to talk to Yuuki to awaken. He had tried that method repeatedly in the last battle. He couldn't risk waiting for Yuuki to escape from greed on her own. Mariabell was still uncontrolled and was hatching some evil plot. She had to be dealt with quickly. Just as he was about to explain to Kigali's group, Yuuki suddenly muttered something in a pained manner. Report, individual Yuuki Kagarazaka has shown signs of resistance. Mental influence of greed appears to be fading. Raphael's announcement rang out and it surprised Rimuru. What? Awakening right now, an amazing and mysterious coincidence. However, at the moment, Rimuru had to accept it. The battle with Yuuki ended like that. With Yuuki freed, only one enemy remained, Mariabell. Outside the ruins, Shion had fully recovered thanks to ultra-speed regeneration. However, the psychological wound certainly could not be healed immediately. Shion still looked at Yuuki with extreme hatred. Meanwhile, as for Gobta, even though he tried to tell Lama that Glenda was still alive, he still did not stop attacking. Gobta had struggled not because of a lack of strength, but because he realized that Lama wanted revenge for Glenda, and Glenda was working for Tempest. His kind nature prevented him from destroying his opponent. However, with Gobta in complete control of the fusion state, Lama was gradually showing signs of exhaustion. Rimuru realized that when Ranga's consciousness was fused, it would help Gobta observe everything around him, and its role at this time was almost like Raphael's. He then asked Raphael to stop Lama's mental interference, and he also regained consciousness shortly after. Everything was going well, but the battle was not over yet. At this time, the ground was still moving, proving that Milim had not yet sealed the Chaos Dragon. "Rimuru-san, I want to chase after Mariabell," Yuuki declared. Rimuru turned to him, surprised to see that his wounds had already healed. Kigali had used her healing magic on him, and it worked. It turned out that Yuuki could control his anti-skill ability at will, meaning he could deactivate it to allow healing magic to take effect. This revelation shocked Rimuru. Even Hinata, with her unique purification ability, couldn't turn it off at will, yet Yuuki could freely control his. What kind of cheat is that? Shaking off his annoyance, Rimuru focused on what Yuuki and Kigali were saying. Kigali explained that the ruins likely contained an ancient energy core, a magic engine that powered the entire castle. If Mariabell overloaded it, the resulting explosion could annihilate everything in the vicinity. Rimuru frowned. "Are you saying Mariabell actually knows how to do that?" "It's not difficult," Kigali replied. "Injecting too much mana into an unstable, ancient mechanism could cause a catastrophic chain reaction. Given that this ruin has been abandoned for thousands of years, there's no telling what kind of destructive force it might unleash." That was a serious problem. But as an experienced archaeologist, Kigali could stop that process. With Yuki's confident attitude, Rimuru decided to agree to let these two go after Mariabell. Meanwhile, Gobta and Shion were tasked with leading the exploration team to safety. They needed to evacuate quickly before things escalated even further. As for Rimuru, his destination was clear. He had to go reinforce Milim. If the Chaos Dragon wasn't sealed soon, its rampage could wipe them all out. Rimuru took off at full speed, heading straight for Milim's battle against the Chaos Dragon.